Hi and welcome to my Black Library book review. Today we're looking at the book The Lightning Hall from Graham McNeill. It's a short story that is available on the website of Black Library. If you remember, I reviewed Graham McNeill with the book Knights of the Imperium, which I gave pretty much a really good score. Uh, this one is still, again, a really well written book, but you have to be warned. Before I go and explain the synopsis and etc. from this book, know that this book, this short story, follow the ninth book that was released for the Horus Heresy. So we're talking about book number 9, Mechanicum, which actually explain how the Emperor went on Mars and what happened during the Horus Heresy. So if you do not want to get spoiled for that book, do not listen to this review, because this short story follow and fill up the story right after Mechanicum, explaining what transpired from the result of that book. So if you don't want to get spoiled Mechanicum, don't listen to this. If you never read it and not sure if you want to read it, well, this short story may be what will grasp you into going into the Horus Heresy and actually give you a first book to read. So, okay. So the synopsis from Black Library goes as follow. Um, House Tanaris is actually one of the greatest house of Imperial Knight and one of the oldest following the cult of Mars. Was one of the first, and they're really powerful. Following the treachery from the War Master, Mars, the red planet, got divided into different factions, which are fighting. And in this book, we see how the science or the survivors from House Tanaris goes about to survive, and how they try to survive through not knowing who are their enemies. It's pretty much something like that. So my synopsis goes as follow. Um, the two survivors of House Tanaris are trying to survive on the red planet, not knowing where are the enemies and who are their enemies. But they still got a little glimpse at hope. Um, they find a message or a signal, and this will send them on a quest to try to find if somebody survived from their house. And that's it. I'll end this little synopsis there. Uh, the book is 31 pages. It is for a short story. I love when they're really well full, and Graham does a beautiful job on this one. It is well explained. You get really small glimpse of what happened to an Imperial Knight that is not well maintained for a long period of time, and the effects that it got for anybody sitting on a throne, that's the seat of the knight, for a long period of time. And you see that kind of weird battle between the mind of the driver or the pilot versus the machine spirit, and how both of them can work together or fight together to whoever get control of the machine itself, the mechanical machine, and not talking about the spirit. Really, the clash between a human versus uh, the spirit of the machine to control that specific machine. You get extra lore, like I said, about the relationship between the knight and its machine, and we see what becomes from House Tanaris from there. So this is great. It's a great short story. It's well written. It is worth that $5 in my book, just because we get so many short story that are like 17 pages, 20, 21 pages, and I feel it's a bit costly for that $5 or that €3.49. You want as much as possible for the bang for your buck. And here I feel it's not it's not an amazing price. I'm going to be criticizing Games Workshop here or Black Library. They cost a lot, and I don't like it. I feel that it's a bit too much already, that the miniature are high cost, and for somebody to start an army it costs a lot. It's still a hobby that is in the highest cost to play branch, and you got people with 3D printer just like me I print some models, I buy some models, and I buy from other people. So for me, this is actually really something that limits. They should really do something about that. I know this review is turning into a criticism of Black Library, but I believe short stories should be about $2 to $3 Canadian. So let's say €1 to €2. If they do that, you would get a lot more people reading those short stories, getting a glimpse, and they will be grasped into reading. And again, we're returning to that review. Graham McNeill does a beautiful job here. Because yes, it kind of gives you spoilers of what happened in Mechanicum, but Mechanicum is a really, really full book. Some people don't like really don't like the story of the Cult of Mars. For me, I really enjoyed them. So that short story just give you enough glimpse into the book Mechanicum to start wondering who are those specific characters that they name. You don't get confused because the way he's writing it, we're just following those two main characters into their survival and their grasp into the hope and trying to actually bring back their house. But we don't get enough to spoil the ending of Mechanicum. You want to know more. And they're going to throw a few names with just a bit of information, just enough to grasp you into wondering, who is that person? Who are they talking about? What was that monster they fought into a cavern? They name it, they say, we fought something, was a monster, and now you're wondering, what's that monster? What was that about? And how did they encounter it? And why did they have to fight it? Why did they run? Why did they fight it? So they survived. We know they survived. But they're in really bad shape right now. So are they in bad shape because of that monster or because of what happened afterward? So you get all of those questions that will make you want to read Mechanicum. So for me, a short story that brings you all those questions, but at the same time giving you a full adventure that is complete with a beautiful ending, a good start, got a good premise with a good ending. So this is a perfect short story. So it's a 9 out of 10. Some people don't love anything that's related to the Imperial Knight. I admit, don't read it. If you don't like anything that's related to the Cult of Mars, and more specifically to the House Tanaris or the Imperial Knight, it's not going to be for you. Because they don't talk about the Primarchs, they don't talk about the Horus Heresy itself. They just say that the Red Planet got divided into two factions, and now House Tanaris, which followed the Cult of Mars, is trying to survive. Not more nor less. So everything else is really, really specific to the Imperial Knight and House Tanaris and how those two pilots are trying to survive. That's it. So all in all, great story, well written. We got glimpses from inside the mind of a pilot. We see the clash between the machine and the man. We see what happened after Mechanicum, which is actually pretty nice. And yeah, so for me, this is a great short story if you want to get introduced to the Horus Heresy, and more specifically for the Cult of Mars. So if you're an AdMech fan, maybe that could be interesting. Not completely, but it's still a good introduction to make you read Mechanicum. If you're Imperial Knight, of course, this is a must. It's House Tanaris. So on this, I hope you guys enjoyed this small review, and I'll see you around soon enough. On a side note, I know I really slow down on painting miniature, and it's because I got a child. And having a newborn, it takes a lot of time and consumes a lot of time. So lately what I do, I 3D print a lot of stuff, since it takes maybe 5 to 10 hours, so I just let it run in the background. And I'll start back painting slowly, but first I think I'm gonna go with a bit of 3D printing and still a bit of lore, still a bit of gameplay to help you out when you're painting, just having some background noise. Or for people that loves gameplay, well, welcome aboard, I guess. So yeah, on this, I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you around soon. All right.